After losing out at the tribunal and appeal court, Abba Yusuf's governorship hangs in the balance, with the Supreme Court being his last chance. And he got a semblance of redemption when electoral body INEC told the 5-member Apex Court panel headed by Justice John Okoro that the key witness, whose testimony was the ground for deducting the 165,616 votes of Yusuf deemed unlawful, was subpoenaed and that his evidence should not have been admitted. INEC's counsel, Abubakar Mahmood, said the witness statement should have been inadmissible, having not been front-loaded along with the main petition at the tribunal. He said the illegal votes that informed the decision of the tribunal to void Yusuf's victory were arrived at after the recounting of votes was done privately at the tribunal chambers, adding that when the contested ballots were brought to the Court of Appeal, however, they were never demonstrated. On Yusuf's membership of the NNPP, INEC's counsel stated that it is the internal affair of the political party concerned and not for an external body, citing previous decisions of the Apex Court. He stressed that the Kano issue was a pre-election and not a constitutional matter, and as such, the court lacks the powers to decide. Abba Yusuf's counsel, Wole Olanikpekun, says it's rather unprecedented to use guidelines of INEC as a basis for nullifying the electoral victory of a candidate who won by a margin of over 100,000, stressing at no point in Nigeria's electoral cases was an election nullified on the grounds that ballot papers were not signed or stamped. Counsel for the APC urged the Apex Court to affirm the sack of the Kano State Governor, with the Apex Court reserving its judgment after all parties in the suit adopted their briefs of argument.
As you're well aware, there are 9 appeals filed in this appeal. Of course, the Supreme Court collapsed all the appeals into one. That is the one filed by Abba Kabir Yusuf, the candidate. And that appeal was taken. All the other appeals will abide. Arguments were canvassed, briefs were adopted, and the judgment has been reserved by the Supreme Court. The date for the expiry of this appeal is 14th January. So, of course, we expect judgment before that date.
The Supreme Court has also reserved judgment in the Bauchi governorship matter after the APC and the PDP Council adopted their briefs of argument.
Electoral materials that are required to carry certain information are omitted by INEC. Those materials, in respect of the affected polling units, will invalidate the election in those polling units, not the entire election. But the question is, how broad, how wide were the infraction that we have under Section 73(2) as to know whether it affected the outcome of the election. So that's what the Supreme Court is now going to look into, especially when the tribunal agreed that something happened that should be left to the conscience of INEC to explain.
We believe in the integrity and the impartiality of the Nigerian judiciary. The judgment is reserved, and I am reserving my comment until after the judgment. Thank you very much.
Election matters have finally reached the last lap, and it's finally the moment of truth. Godfrey Eshamoge, Arise News.